Well, it is time now for our swing state spotlight. And this week, we are highlighting Wisconsin. It's one of the most crucial battleground states in the race for the White House. Both campaigns fighting hard for the state, making multiple trips over the past few months, including 2 more from the Republican nominees this week. Former President Trump will be making a stop in La Crosse tomorrow. It's his first visit to the state since accepting the Republican presidential nomination in Milwaukee last month. But his running mate, J.D. Vance, has been in Wisconsin each of the past 3 weeks since, and he's scheduled to be in Kenosha today. To discuss the political climate in Wisconsin, I'm joined by Kyle Schrader, the chairman of Wisconsin Young Republicans, Cindy Miller, an independent voter, and Darryl Morin, the national president of Forward Latino. Thank you all for being here this morning. Cindy, I'd like to start with you. So you said your biggest concerns are upholding the Constitution and accepting the election results. What are you hearing from other independent voters on this topic specifically?
Their same concerns, and then hearing that the government in Georgia, that the governor is, wondering if he has the right to take people off the election board, and all the things they're trying to change in that state in their election laws. That concerns me very much.
So, Kyle, for you, it's crime and the border. Those are your biggest issues. Harris, in recent weeks specifically, has worked to portray herself as tougher on crime and the border than former President Trump. How is that messaging landing with you?
It's not. I don't think it's landing with me or with a lot of young voters. She's flip-flopping on a lot of issues. That's what she's been doing throughout her entire campaign since she's become the nominee. And it's just not landing with myself and with a lot of young voters. It just does not resonate with my generation right now.
And why is that?
I think we can just see through the facade that both the Biden-Harris administration has shown over the last 4 years. It's just been an absolute failure, and we're sick and tired of it.
So, Darryl, you recently spoke out against anti-Semitism. Do you think Harris has done enough to denounce the anti-Semitic issues that are happening within the Democratic Party?
Well, one of the things I think we like most about what Vice President Harris has done is try to work in a pragmatic way. She has spoken up loudly against anti-Semitism, while also calling for the protection of innocent life in Gaza, et cetera. So I can tell you, we're seeing a significant upswing in excitement and approval and engagement now with regards to this election, now that she's entered the race.
What do you believe, Darryl, would be the most effective message for Harris to portray to voters right now regarding these issues of anti-Semitism?
Once again, I think it's taken a pragmatic approach. I've heard her say time and time again, to start serious negotiations, we got to both acknowledge the right of both sides to exist, for Israel to exist and for the Palestinians to have their own state. We're seeing a lot of demagoguery on this issue right now, but having that as the starting place is kind of a common sense of approach, and I appreciate her taking the lead on that.
I'm curious at this hour how persuadable voters really are. It seems like there are such heated, contentious thoughts on both sides. Cindy, you've seen Harris at a rally. You've said you'll be voting for her. Is there anything former President Trump could do to change your mind, to earn your vote?
No, and another thing I'm concerned about is our rights as women. He appointed 3 judges. They said they were going to protect Roe v. Wade. They did not. And then Friday, Trump came out and said that he was, to quote, his administration will be great for women and the reproductive rights. What does that mean? So, no, I don't believe it. And the best thing I can do is for my family and my friends is when they bring something up, we have a civil conversation. And at my age, I think we've all decided who we're going to vote for, and we just need to be nice to each other for a change. And listen to what everybody has to say.
We can all agree on that. Kyle, I saw you reacting to that. Abortion issues, a major, major talking point, especially in the state of Wisconsin. What are you hearing from your friends? What's your view when you talk about the view the former president takes on this issue specifically?
It's a states' rights issue. The president has been quite clear on that. I mean, J.D. Vance has been quite clear on that. It's a states' rights issue. he puts it to the states, and that's what he's going to keep on doing, and that's plain and simple. That's what his stance is. It's what his stance is going to continue to be. That's what it should be. It should always be a states' rights issue.
You know, when you get pushback, though, Kyle, on that, what are you hearing? What are the most prominent complaints to that stance that you're hearing?
If you don't like what your state's doing, change it at the state level. It doesn't lay in the hands of the president. Change it at the state's issue. We live in the state of Wisconsin. We have a governor that's a Democrat. Go to Tony Ever's office.
You know, this is the second most important issue among Wisconsin voters. So, Darryl, I'll pose the same question to you. What's your interpretation of how the Trump campaign has messaged this issue specifically? What have you heard from Harris Walz that may be more satisfying for some that you're speaking with in your circles?
Well, with regards to the issue of choice, I can tell you, we're seeing people who consider themselves conservative to moderately conservative say this is a make or break deal with them. You know, we go all the way back to the Civil Rights Act, right? Where we were seeing individual states choose which rights they're going to allow people to have. And I think it's pretty conclusive when you look at polling here that the issue of abortion is huge here, and that is going to sway a number of people to the Harris Walz ticket.
You know, and when you talk about making big swings in the polling, Wisconsin is always so razor thin. So, Kyle, quickly, what is more important to you in this election, swaying the middle or energizing the base enough to get out and vote?
I think it goes hand in hand. I don't think it's swaying the middle. And I think having Robert RFK come over and sway that middle vote is huge right now. I think a lot of people are looking at what's happening in the economy and the failures of the Biden-Harris administration, and having Harris flip-flop on a lot of these issues is swaying a lot of people our way. And I think young people are going to see that. And when they're trying to start families, and when they can't because they can't purchase houses because of just the utter failures of what we've seen over the last 4 years, and Kamala Harris trying to separate herself from the last 4 years is embarrassing for her. And I think young people are seeing through that. And we're going to see a huge wave of young people voting for President Trump and J.D. Vance and Eric Hovde in the next election.
Darryl, I'll give you a moment to respond, and then I'd like to ask Cindy a final question.
Yeah, you know, I think this is what the voters are tired of hearing, right? This extreme rhetoric in both locations or on both sides. You know, Wisconsin has the lowest employment rate in Wisconsin state history, right? We're seeing new business growth at historic levels, et cetera. So I think you can't say it's been a complete and total failure. There, I think it's reasonable to say, too, we are concerned with issues of inflation and of housing and healthcare costs. So I think today's average voter is tired of the extreme rhetoric. Let's just talk policy and have candidates that are genuine in their care for the United States. I think they're the ones who'll carry the day.
All right, Cindy, we have about 30 seconds left. Who do you think will be winning your state? Which candidate and why?
Oh, I believe it's going to be Harris. I think she's going to hold up the Constitution. And she's also she's for the rule of law, and everyone should be accountable and not just certain people. So I'd like to see Harris win and keep our Constitution intact. And we live in the greatest country in this world, and they're telling us we're not. We do. And let's keep it that way.
All right. Cindy, Kyle, Darryl, insightful. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.